Let's
Well done.
not be dealing with that right now. Also, the Kalista and the Renekton gonna come off of the board. Two very strong pickups, especially the Kalista at the moment. It's just been terrorizing people in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to put them in the hands of either of these 80 carries? Like,
No.
I think both teams are just better off. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's not
We'll
play
play
this
something else.
one, guys, because
Yeah.
the 80 carries is probably salivating. Like, yes, I will take over the game at this point. You know, it's two very storied players. Gala with the long-term success, Peyz with the more recent success, and you know, want to give him a big shout out. There was a lot of questions on whether or not he was going to be able to play at a high level here in the LPL. And while JDG has had some issues, it feels like it's been Peyz who's the guy that has kept them stable.
Absolutely, although not so much in the previous matchup. That was one that was a little bit rougher for them to play out. So we'll see if that's going to be another place to really try to play around, because Gala has already started his day incredibly well. Just had a dominant performance in the first game of the day. TheShy immediately going to lock in this chase, feeling confident right now, isn't worried. As much as we've been hyping Arla up, clearly thinks that this is going to be an okay matchup. Can also go into the mid lane if you do want to move things around a little bit. But straight up, I think we're just going to get our top lane matchup slammed in the first 2 picks of this draft.
Yeah, honestly, if I see the Gwen lock in here, this shows to me that Gwen should just be like on the level of Ambessa. And it's just like, maybe you should just be banning this champion or first picking this champion all the time. Not quite sure. We are going to see them shift into the Vi, but I still imagine that we'll see a top lane pick come out here, and it will indeed be the Gwen.
Yep. And let's see what Arla can do with this one, because he has had so many impressive performances on this champion. It's definitely one of his best looks. TheShy also had a good play on it earlier on today, so clearly both of these top laners very comfortable. They're going to know this matchup well, and it could well be explosive. If any top lane matchup's going to result in solo kills, this could be the one. We are going to get to see the Sejuani locked in right here. Jhin has obviously got the Vi, one of the strongest junglers at the moment, but Jiejie has looked brilliant on this Sejuani. Is actually what he played in the previous matchup as well. We are flying through this draft.
Yeah, I also find it really interesting that we're pairing the Sejuani with 1 range and a half a melee, right?
Yeah.
It's not something you typically see. You typically see the triple melee suite come out of your top side. Now, you will still have great dive potential. I think that Sejuani and Taliyah are going to be a really potent duo for these guys to deal with, but I think JDG, they're just kind of throwing down the gauntlet here. We locked in the Rise here for Scout, so they're just like, hey, man, we're going to show up to this game, and we're going to try to ball out.
Yeah, I mean, the Rise has been coming up quite a lot recently. After not seeing it in competitive play for years and years, all of a sudden it's been popping off. Although in the last couple of games that I've watched it, I haven't been too impressed. I felt like it wasn't able to actually get too much done. Into this Taliyah matchup, you should be pretty safe. You can farm yourself up to the point at which you're useful. But it's what can you do with these realm warps? Both of these mid laners have got much more utility-based ultimates than just trying to deal damage, and they can be a little bit tricky to use. We know that Rookie can be great with this Taliyah. Let's see what Scout can do to really be able to match that one. And once again, we're getting bot laners and supports being taken in the second half of a draft.
Yeah, we still have at least an Ashe on the table here, you know, to bring that utility. It feels like JDG is going to need some of this utility to come through. You've got the Rune Prison, sure, but outside of that, it's only the Vi that's able to lock things down. I like this ban of the Kai'Sa as well because, you know, when you have the Taliyah and the Sejuani, it gives you an extra dive buddy. Obviously, Gala's Kai'Sa, you know, we saw him earlier in the day perform quite well, so good to see that off the board.
Yeah, you really don't want to allow Gala to just style on you with that pickup right here. But there's still plenty of these very good ADCs still up and available. Things like the Ezreal that's been so much of a focus. Yeah, they're just going to take that one off of the board. So maybe we'll get to see something a little bit more aggressive. That's what I want right now. I would like to see them just go for something that can be a bit more of a playmaker. Obviously, the Draven's been hovering on the edges of a lot. I'd be surprised if we see that one. Xayah as well available. But we could just get a little bit more of a late game focus. Jhin is absolutely fine at the moment and still is the Jinx.
All right, we'll see that Jhin come through. So good CC there. It's not quite the Ashe, but that's totally fine. Peyz does mean that we'll have a little bit of less early agency, but if this game goes a little long, every auto attack could be hitting as hard as a 4th shot. We all know what happens when Jhin gets really, really fed. If IG want to just lock in this Misfortune and then slam Morel, you can. You'll just have to contend with an Alistar.
Yeah, I mean, the Alistar is gonna be the lock-in if you take the Rel right now, but it would make sense. It works very well alongside the Sejuani. Other engage support options are still available, though. Just take it away? I mean, you can. It doesn't work so well as a combo right here. You're kind of, 4D chessing yourself out of the better combination, but it does avoid all of the issue of just kind of getting taken out by the Alistar. It really does ruin what the Rel wants to do. Missing, we've had big questions about this man so far. He's the one in this game that has had kind of the worst performances overall. What does he want to take right here? I'd like something with a lot of mobility because it would make it a little bit easier for him to not get caught out. And in fact, it is going to be the Rakan as the lock-in right here. Yeah, that's the kind of mobility that we would like to see. And it works well alongside the Jhin to try to keep it safe. This is very interesting in how different these compositions are from each other.
The question is it enough to tie the room together, Bloxer? Because, like, sure, you have this Rakan and this Vi, and they're really great at diving, but guess what? This Taliyah will cause problems. Rakan will fly in. He will be micro-stunned. He will be headbutt pulverized. He is not tanky. He will just melt, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're down a man. And missing with the way he's been playing, a lot of questions here are going to be presented coming into this matchup because Bloxer, I think that, and I know it's just best of ones, and I don't want to overreact, but if JDG do not win here, I think that we might not be able to call them a consistent top 4 team, and I know they just were in the last split too, which is crazy to think about because we're starting to see some teams level up here.
Yeah, absolutely. IG very much one of those teams who's been looking better and better and better as this series has gone on, as this second split has been playing out. And JDG, they need to put themselves on the map with this one. They've got an odd composition, though. The Rise, I feel like it doesn't quite fit in with what you're trying to do elsewhere. And we were talking in the previous game, right, about how Rakan, as much as it is squishy, you can play it a little bit more defensively, trying to just help out your ADC if you've got other tanks and other engage options going on forwards. Well, if you don't go in with Jhin right here, the Vi just dies. And then you've lost your jungler potentially around an objective. This JDG composition from ahead with the ability to move around so much will be great, but from behind just doesn't have tools.
Like we said earlier, they got a ball out. So we hear the gyros ring out.
And we are actually going to get 5 members right here of IG moving their way up towards the top side of the map, potentially trying to catch somebody out. Missing did manage to get a ward down. Don't step there. Don't walk there right now, Missing. You cannot get caught out within the first 45 seconds of the game. That would be a new record, surely.
Guys, you need to leave. You will be detected lane swapping. Don't do it. Straight to jail.
Do not pass go. Do not collect 200.
how do you feel about
Love it.
the lane swap restrictions? Do you think that they need to stay this way? Because there is some talk of, eventually pulling back on them a little bit. I think that stuff in at least the next patch on PBE to, I would like to see lane swaps maybe be like a 1 in every 10 games kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to change something. This feels very much like a Band-Aid fix, but it was very welcome at the point at which it came in. I was incredibly bored of the lane swaps and happy to see them gone. But yeah, I think they're going to have to pull back on the restriction being implemented as it is because it's way too harsh. It's way too much prescribing the way that the game has to be played, which I feel like shouldn't be the way that things are. It's prescribed through what feels like it's the best rather than a big text box popping up on your screen. No, not allowed to do that.
Seeing the jungler start on opposite sides of the map here. We'll see if Shun pays an early visit up top. And if you don't, JJ makes hay on a play, then that could be really bad news because this top lane could be very volatile, Bloxer, with the way these champions are and how they can snowball the game if they get ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw in the first matchup from IG earlier on that despite the fact that TheShy had a lot of pressure put onto him, he was still able to pop off in this game. The Jace, another champion that can do just that. We've seen what the Gwen can do with even a disadvantage in lane. So yeah, I would love to see these junglers head up towards there at some point. For right now, it is IG who would be more likely to have that happen. Already very low health bars available to them. You can see that Arla already put a ward down. He knew not to put himself into a vulnerable position.
With Shun pathing away from him, you see Jiejie heading up to the top side, so that'll be spotted out. He's well aware this is happening. Ala will have to back off. Although All right, I thought he was going to get in there and just be like,
Don't
all right, man,
dive.
you know, I don't care that a ward's there. I'm just going to go super deep, right? It seemed like a silly move, perhaps.
Yeah, the level 3 dive would have definitely been a little bit too aggressive, although actually the pings are coming back through and Arla is pretty dang low.
Just expired. We do see TheShy is running for his life. He's got to flash away.
Oh, no!
And Ala wins the 1v1. The question is, can he escape? The answer is
no, absolutely not. The second that you get hit right there by the Arctic Assault, it is just going to be a kill going on over. But this is the thing with the top lane matchup. So volatile. And Ala going to come back to lane with way more in his back pocket. You can see actually going a little bit more defensive, getting himself some pots, a little bit of armor. Whereas it is going to be the tier for TheShy. This matchup is probably going to continue to be explosive. Solo kills are such a rarity, it feels like, in both top and mid lane nowadays. But this matchup definitely going to be ripe for those sorts of plays. And what ends up happening here? You have to imagine TheShy just steps up. He thinks he can bait it in. He's got his jungler in the area, but yeah, he just decides to stick around a little bit too long. This is now the second game in a row where TheShy has ended up dying early on. Didn't affect him last time.
Good play on Rookie. Hold on. Rookie, run, Rookie, run. Get out of there. Wait a minute. You're on the wrong side. He's going to flash over this wall. He will burn Scout's flash at the very least. The Rise will be able to catch up. He did indeed get those tattoos in Rune Prism. It's a kill for Scout.
Yeah, it was on the wrong side of the map right there, and that is now going to be 2 kills here for JDG. It was only the response kill out of IG that we saw. This is the JDG that we really wanted to see, because remember, just in the previous game, they ended up getting taken to task by LNG. Exactly what you'd like, and this is what we missed. The start of this play, it's a questionable teleport right here out of Rookie. Really unfortunate, because Rookie had a brilliant game in the previous one. Was looking so strong, really able to carry IG through it, and alright, well, not going to be ideal. Oh well, moving on from that one. A look at the rest of the map. We've obviously got a Drake spawned at the moment. First set of grubs not available quite yet. Will be very soon, though. And with all of the pressure that IG are able to put through the top lane right now, could well try for that one. Although TheShy might just be getting himself killed here again. Shun's in the area. He's at least going to have to recall.
Yeah, Shun is up here. He will spot out this Warden. How big would grubs be for JDG, right? You have the Rise, you have the Gwen, 2 really insane side laners, right? And if you're IG, it's like, well, we need to try to take some away. I don't think you could just give them all away. TheShy is bearing down on Ala, can't catch up. And very fortunate there, as now both junglers are near the top side. Meanwhile, Rookie and Scout. Rookie wanting a little bit of revenge there. Missing roaming on his way up. He's completely cut off from his team. He needs to link up with Scout. He should be okay.
Yeah, he's alright. Just about going to be able to walk this one off. But you can see just how many people are around this middle lane right now. Where are the junglers going to go, though? That's going to dictate where the rest of the teams are moving towards. We've got both the Drake and the Grubs up and available. Like you said, the Grub's going to be way more important here for JG than for IG. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to pick that one up. IG more than well aware of this fact, moving straight on towards them.
Yeah, more than happy to have him, because, you know, TheShy at least can make really good use of them. So you're like, hey, you know what? We don't want to give these up. Hey, we took them too, and we can actually use them. I think nothing is worse than when you take the grubs as a takeaway, because it's like, man, like, we spent all this time and invested all this effort and couldn't do much, but they're looking to make a play onto Ala. Scout and Missing are here to try to protect their top laner, but the engage is onto Scout, who's down to half. Ala's just trying to clear the wave right now. Another good seismic shove, and Jiejie has made his way up here. Meiko is ready to go. The Ignite is on Ala. Meiko is tanking it up, and Ala is burning, but he lives on just a sliver. He's still alive after the shock blast! He's still alive after a seismic shove! Rookie's the one who gets knocked up, but they manage to get on top of Scout and take him out. And Weaver's wall comes flying through. Rookie will live. It's a disaster for JDG in the top lane.
This specific spot in the top lane is JDG's kryptonite. They need to stop being here. Obviously, this is a play from IG that works eventually, although it takes a very long time for it to actually come to fruition. Still, it's going to be a good advantage out of IG, although they do need to run a little bit right now. Wishun in the area could potentially get jumped onto if they outstay their welcome. And in the end, it's going to be a small advantage over to IG. Watch Ala in this play, though, because he's trying to get things done. on this side of the fight, clears out all of the minions, which is so incredibly important, and it's a big part of why he's actually able to survive, because the final minion falls at some point in this fight. There it goes, and now you can't step up anywhere near as easily. The minion wave is pouring in so slowly. It's a ton of time invested here out of IG, and they don't get that much for it in the end.
Yeah, Meiko had a really nice flash and got pulverized there, so good to really get in range to disrupt what was going on there. Yeah, he took away the kill, but hey, listen, supports need some love too.
Oh yeah.
As Missing has been really aggressive on the recon this game. I think that's a, you pointed out a champion that can get you to safety a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, he's taking full advantage. He knows, I should never die, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he's playing aggressively enough that it's helping buy a little bit of extra space for his team. Now, interesting thing for these compositions is that as much as the early game is impactful, it's going to be these team fights that really change things. And the way that these bot laners, who have been left pretty much alone, hang on, top laners, they hate us talking about anybody else. The second we try to focus on another lane in this one, they're just going to fight. The way that these bot laners...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
go
on.
No, all you.
The way these bot lanes want to play out their fights is completely different, right? A Jin wants a long extended fight where you're able to get 4 shots of your autos and then sit far enough back that you can just ulti your way through. Whereas it's completely different, yeah, right here.
Turnabout is fair play.
Exactly.
All right, we're 0 for 2. We're 0 for 3.
3.
My man is Ben Simmons at the free throw line, baby. 0 for 4, Peyz. Come on.
Nah, Gala's got the fancy feet. We saw it in the previous game as well on the Kai'Sa, was constantly dodging away from everything that was being thrown at him, was able to pick up the win for IG pretty much single-handedly in that one, and once again showing off his skills, still feeling comfortable enough actually to be able to sit in and take this wave away. And actually, in comes Meiko. Can they go for a return play on this one? Nah, not quite. Peyz without the ulti could potentially be under threat in the next 5 minutes though.
Yeah, in the end, we didn't talk about what was traded. Gala burns his barrier, but Peyz has to flash. These two summoners are not equivalent. They're both real good, but if you ask me, I think AD carry would be like, yeah, give me flash. Like, I really want to get out of any bad scenario. So, gonna have to keep an eye on that right now as we're just over the 10-minute mark. Second set of grubs coming up in about 20 seconds. We see a lot of pings coming down from IG on their resets. 3 men strong, headed to the middle.
They're going to be looking towards these grubs most certainly. If they can get all 6 for themselves, as much as we were talking about JDG being able to use them to great benefit, so can IG. And they're going to have the fast track towards them. You can see Jun is in the area. He's taking his Krugs away, not going to be able to get here right at the very start. You can at least get 2 of these grubs of the 3. Even if you give 1 over to Jun, still a massive win right here for IG.
And Jiejie going to be unbothered here in his lane. Or his jungle in this case, thriving, moisturized, taking out grubs. We do see Shun. They're going to come in on the mid lane here. He's going to clear out the pink ward with his team. Jiejie will be forced off this last grub, but that is totally fine. 5-1.
Oh.
Here comes a Realm Warp on the other side. TheShy already has to flash. Nice catch here by the side of JDG.
I love that out of JDG. They recognize that they're not going to be able to make a play elsewhere, but they use the ulti to great effect, and being able to pick up another kill right there onto TheShy, giving RLM more time to do what he needs to in these lanes. Really well played, and it's the turnaround that we expect out of this team.
Yeah, you can see Allah's finally starting to get some damage here. He's got a Fiendish Codex, he's got an Amp Tome. Yeah, I love this. Thank you for the stat here. He is still TheShy. Everybody, there's another name that you could call him that's a little bit of profanity that I'm not going to say here. But this is just standard TheShy gaming.
Yeah.
If you're new to watching the LPL, my dude does this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen him on the international stage ever, then either he is 0-6 or he's just made your entire region the saddest people alive. He really is so coin flippy, but honestly, as much as he dies, he can still make it work in these fights so very often. Right now, though, he's just going to be in the top side. The rest of the team going to be around this Ocean Drake, picking this one up. And Drakes are now going to be 1 apiece. Next couple are going to be incredibly important. No Drake stacking available, though. So, teams just going to head back to their lanes, keep things a little bit chill. It really has been a very quiet game out of the bot lane. It's so quiet that they had to engage on each other. There weren't even supports around. It feels like these two have pretty much been by themselves the entire time. Absolutely fine for them. But once we get into these team fights, that's where both of these champions are really going to pop off. But it is very much, as I was highlighting earlier, the team fight speed is what's going to determine this. If JDG are able to slow down the team fight and allow multiple rotations of Jin shots of that ulti to go through, wonderful. If IG can get that quick fight that they're really looking for, where a seismic shove into that bullet time can happen all at once, then the fight should be straight up over, and they're going to win those ones.
Yeah, even perform some abstract concepts by, you know, using the Weaver's Wall and the bullet time in tandem to cut people off a certain way.
Exactly.
Certainly a possibility. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to the Rift Herald. Now, I think that one is going to be supremely important, as Allah has found TheShy. He has found Meiko. He has to flash away from this, as they are putting the pressure on this side laner. See, TheShy has already completed a Maul of Malmortius.
Yeah, he's in a pretty okay spot considering what happened so far, as actually the rest of JDG are going to Rife, decide not to go in all the way, potentially didn't actually know how many members of JDG were in the area right here. Scout had gone back to base, so they couldn't guarantee that he wasn't walking down towards the bottom lane to make a play there. Instead, he is just heading towards the top side, trying to keep... Oh no, missing. Oh, he's fine.
He's fine!
I was so worried he'd had that actually cancelled. I was like, not again. There's no way.
I'd like to know if this is the longest missing has gone without dying in a game so far this season.
This split? Almost certainly.
Yeah, like, I'm proud of him, you know?
Yeah.
Sure, it's riding the bike with the training wheels on, but still, like, you know, he's not falling over. Listen, I'm going to admit this in front of however many people are watching. I fell too many times with the training wheels, and kid me decided, no more. I do not ride bikes.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I would like to think that right now Missing is going to be doing slightly better with his training wheels on. Rakan, such an easy to escape with champion, and hasn't really been called on too much to go in. The only play where he really needed to was that top lane play using the Realm Wrought from Scout. Such a well-coordinated play out of JDG, and he hits the ground entrance incredibly well. So far, very impressive. He made it 15 whole minutes into a game without getting caught, without even dying in a legitimate way for a support.
All right, this Rift Herald, it's going to be up in about 40 seconds here. You can see the team is posturing. 5 Grub Rift Herald, going to be really strong, especially IG up, not, you know what, 600 gold, right? Not a whole lot. A Rift Herald, a well-placed, well-timed one, can break open an entire game, Bloxer. You know this, I know this. IG knows this, but they've moved it down and are maybe looking to make a play bot side.
Oh, they are. They're going to teleport in as well. They are looking to take out Arla right here. He's getting back towards the tower.
All right, the hollowed mist, but Meiko's in the mist, and you can't miss that headbutt. Rookie will get the kill, and now the 5 Grub pushes on.
And this is what you can do with this composition, right? And actually, ulti going to come through out of Gala to just be able to clear out this minion wave. Should be able to stop this one from going down. Turret does fall right here for IG, and such a good proactive play out of them. The kind of thing you could also do here as JDG with Scout's ulti. They haven't been able to do it again since they went to the top side.
Yeah, let's see if they're going to go for it. It looks like JDG is going to back off because they feel like they may need to answer TheShy.
They get nothing for this.
I don't, you know, they just peeled off of this. I'm not quite sure why. Scout will be able to take this top turret, but, you know, Gala's missing his ultimate. So why not just fight?
TheShy's hitting a tier 2. Like, as much as, yeah, you get the top lane tier 1, it takes so long for Scout to be able to do that you end up losing out onto this top lane tier 2. TheShy now going to have to turn tail and run. Is actually going to be able to get away from the situation, and you'd lose very little for that play. Great map rotation.
We're going all in on TheShy here. Peyz is on his way. He is sprinting. TheShy with a nice flash and knock him back. All right, can you land them all?
The feet.
You hit one. Come on, dude. You have to hit this guy. Shun says, brother, give me the rock. I'm just going to dunk on his head.
Yeah, just goes straight on in onto that one. Loses a flash for it. That's going to be a pretty big engage tool, because you see the jungler right here for JDG down in the bottom lane. IG, they're going to head straight on towards this Rift Tower. Going to be able to pick this one up nice and easily. Question for me is what's going to happen about this Drake. Drake spawning in a couple of seconds time. You are closer to it right now, Ajun, but with no friends in the area, I'd be very surprised if he's able to start this one up straight away.
I'll at least will trade back on the bottom side, but I mean, this is just such a positive play for IG. Up over 1,000 gold now, and You know, this is what happens when you give up the 5 grubs. It's very difficult, right? Because, you know, Scout doesn't really start hitting a big peak on Rise until about this time. Sure, you've got the early game power of the Vi, but not too much more. So JDG, they did have to bide their time a little bit. They're now heading down to this Dragon, but they're looking to make a big play on the Peyz, and it will pay off. It is Gala claiming a shutdown. That's a CS shutdown, by the way.
Oh yeah, CS shutdown is crazy, but Gala grabbing it is especially good. Has also got that Bloodthirster completed, so is in a very strong position at the moment. The Jin gonna need a couple more items to be as useful as Gala is right now. The mid lane, tier 1, gonna be cracked open. This is nice and early to be able to grab this one. Will really unlock. And look at the grubs right now.
Twitch chat,
of them.
That's you guys. That's you, Twitch chat, helping out, taking out that turret.
Oh,
Good stuff here from IG as they peel back onto this Dragon.
They're just better on their map rotations right now, despite the fact that both teams have got the tools to be able to use heavy rotation. I mean, you've got a Rakan and a Rise, for goodness sake. That's the kind of composition that should be rotating incredibly proactively. As Rookie, you can only take yourself on your ulti as a rotation. Scout can take everybody else with him, but we've only gotten to see that play once. And everything else has been very much IG making the proactive plays. You can see it set up right here. And, oh, that's a from alley-oop right there. Just gorgeous between them. And they're going to be able to pick up that kill nice and easily. And off of the back of that one, they then use it so effectively.
Yeah, that's a real back-breaking play right there. The mid-game plays that you see a team make to really open up a gold lead, because now it's a 2,000 gold lead for IG. And, of course, it had to be on Peyz, a guy who, you know, has played really well for JDG to start the year, and you know, had a rough go at it. He's having another rough go at it here. I mean, not too much agency on the Jin. You know, we talked about later on in the game, he'll be doing a lot, but like at this point in time, not too much.
Oh yeah, really is just going to need to get further on into this game. They need to be careful, JDG, to not fall too far behind at this point. They're only down by about 2,000 gold. It's not the end of the world at the moment, but still, they haven't exactly been able to Drake stack. They haven't gotten themselves all of the grubs that they could have potentially played around. Instead, everything's been coming up IG so far. Game's going to stall out a little bit at the moment. With just Atakan up and available, it can be something you really want to go try to play around, but at the same time, very easy to throw at this objective. Instead, I think these teams are going to chill out a little bit more until we get to the next Drake in 3.5 minutes and the Baron in 4, unless, of course, somebody steps too far forwards and allows a pick potential.
And I wonder if JDG is going to feel a little pressured to play toward this Otacon. We've seen Gwen is really good at taking Otacon. Rise gives you a solid amount of damage on it too. So they might find a scenario where they're like, hey, let's go and take this. But it's just so dangerous because if IG doesn't opt into it, they can just be like, yo, we're going to split push, man. We have 5 grubs. We do not care.
Yeah, they can just make these map rotations hurt more and more for JDG than JDG have any hope to be able to do at this point in the game. It makes it so rough to try to play around. Now, you can see a lot of people from both teams are going to be in the area towards this Atakan. You're going to start it up quite yet. You would take it incredibly quickly right here, as both JGG and IG, if they decide to hit onto it. But, you know, Atakan also hits like a truck. You don't want to expose yourself. Oh, Gala. Oh, his spidey senses were tingling. Maybe missing sprinting at him with the ulti up made it a little bit obvious.
Yeah, I think that he was ready for Scout to maybe flash over the wall. Yeah. But he held that, and, you know, just makes missing look really silly. And they know that this teamfight ultimate is down, so perhaps a window for IG.
Yeah, I mean, the way that IG are playing right now, they're not giving many opportunities over to JDG. And the fact that you don't take that, you don't just go for that play. Meiko might get caught here, but still very tanky, especially with JJ backing him up right now. These two can buy a lot of space. Yeah, just insta-ults. Vault Breaker ready. Everybody was expecting Scout to go.
All right, we're going to engage onto JJ here. Just to clear out some vision. Not really a whole lot of damage, so these are okay. But really looking for, you know, IG to start being a little bit more proactive here because of the scaling mid lane and the scaling top lane for JDG. Okay. Ooh, we are seeing proactivity. Misses. The engage is there. Missing had been once again caught out, but he will survive. JDG will not opt into the fight yet, but maybe so. Jun steps up, Allah steps up, Meiko is low, but the rocks are out.
I mean, missing the initial engage right here for IG isn't great. Interesting.
They send 3 over, and they've realized TheShy is here, but here comes Rookie to cut off
Peyz
the
is
squad.
caught again.
They've engaged on the way to Peyz. Peyz will fall the bullet time. Not going to do much, but on the other side of the fight, it's TheShy. Meiko with a huge 3-man knockup to buy some time. Gala joins the fight. TheShy will live. Allah will fall, and Scout will only be able to get the 1. No, he'll find the 2nd because he's going sicko mode, but he ends up going down anyway. And it's IG coming up aces.
I mean, Scout, he saves JDG right there from it being a clean ace into Atakan, but still, 5 kills are going to go over there. Atakan will be picked up right here for IG, and the team fight all comes off the back of a just gorgeous catch right here onto Peyz. Peyz once again misses the Realm Warp, and the second that he doesn't catch the bus, everybody on IG recognizes that, collapses in onto this one. Scout does do a good job here of at least being able to turn it around, but it was the 3-man knockup that really sets up TheShy and Meiko to be able to buy enough time. The thing is, the reason that you're able to get a couple of the kills back right here is that Gala has to spend time walking up into the Hallowed Mist to make sure he can actually do damage, and that stops him from just being able to hit onto people for enough time for Scout to be able to do a little bit of something. Still, it's barely anything. It's a drop in the bucket of what was a massive win for IG.
Peyz has had a really hard time this game. That was just disgusting. As soon as they see, oh hey, Peyz is right there, Gala's chasing him down, they know he's dead, and they are saying, hey man, listen, we do things differently here in the LPL. As IG looking to put themselves on Infernal Soul Point.
Yeah, indeed, and IG, they're looking good so far in this group. Now, the group had some question marks going in. IG had some question marks going in. Gotta be honest, their previous game looked a lot rougher for them than this matchup right here up against JDG. That's not a good spot for JDG to be in, as it is just going to be the push on forwards towards this tier 2 in the mid lane. The Baron is up and available for IG when they want to go back and try play around this one. For the minute, they don't even need it to be cracking towers in the face of the opponents.
And I must say, Bloxer, this IG, I think that with this game here and the way they played so far, that they might not be a mirage. I think that this is them replicating how good they have been in this current stage in the split 2 placements.
Yeah.
This is a team that you now need to watch out for. This is a team that we could certainly see at MSI if they keep it up.
Absolutely, and it's the individual pieces really coming together. As much as we've been worried a little bit about a full identity for them in the same sort of way as JDG, Gala's been popping off, Rookie's been popping off, TheShy has been drawing so much attention. Yeah, he's died 4 times, but he's still been useful in these team fights. Something can be tricky to do. Jun getting jumped. He's going to get stunned here.
He is going to try to get some help from his Rise, and he will. We'll be able to Realm Warp him out of there, but that is a cooldown that you will not get to use.
Yeah, that's a huge cooldown to just save 1 member. Now, you can't let Jun die right there. The second that Jun dies, that's the Baron. That's an immediate Baron being picked up for IG, and that may well be the final nail in the JDG coffin. But you miss out on that one, and it's another Realm Warp that doesn't get to be proactive, right? Looking at what Scout's been able to do on this Rise so far. He Realm Warps once early on in the game, and they managed to get a kill onto TheShy. It was a very nice play. He then uses it to reposition on the map, reposition his team into a team fight they lose, and save his jungler from a little bit of pressure going on. These are not big Realm Warps. These are not the Realm Warps to change the game. And in fact, the Realm Warp to reposition in the team fight they lose happens because Peyz doesn't even make it into it. It's not been a good pickup for JDG so far.
Yeah, they've been timid on some engages too, you know. At the beginning of that fight, Shun is just kind of holding his ultimate like, oh, I'm really scary, look at me, I'm Vi. But not able to actually pick out a target that JDG are able to go on. And I'm still waiting for Missing to have a really good quickness come through, because the most memorable one was the one where no play happened.
Exactly. It's just, it just hasn't felt so good so far. Still 2 minutes now until the next Drake is going to spawn. The Baron's been up and available for a while at this point, and IG, despite the fact they've been hovering in the area, haven't really felt comfortable to be able to straight up start this one. And to be fair, they don't particularly need to. They're still getting themselves more and more of a gold advantage as this game goes on. just an inability so far for JDG really to be able to step up and actually get involved in a lot of this game. You can see across the actual CS numbers, JDG, they've been able to farm, but they aren't actually able to turn it into anything else. At the same time, as we've been saying, right, JDG, they've got the scaling factor on their side. It's not a complete wipe for them, but they will get very strong once that third item's completed.
June's been called out. He's going to be able to make it toward his rise, but he's taken a lot of rocks.
Ow.
Gala flashes forward. Here comes the ultimate from Rookie, and June is stuck. He will fall. A big play by IG, and now the Baron may be in their sights. They're going to rip it.
Yeah, they've used 2 key ultimates now. You don't have the bullet time, you don't have the Weaver's Wall, and there is still a lot of members of JDG in the area, but junglerless, how can they steal this one away?
They need to find a way to get all of their potentially 5,000, 4,000, 3,000. They're going to pull off, man. You're not going to even be able to make an objective trade happen. Nope. IG can just go and do the dragon if they want when it comes up, and you are doomed at this point.
Exactly. This is what we were talking about, right? As IG, you don't have to force around this Baron right now. You're doing fine to just sit there, and the point at which you get a pick, the second pick in a row onto Jiejie, where he's just out of position. At least he's bailed out by Scout in the first instance, not in the second. There's nothing that you can actually do. You can see JDG, after that Baron play, they push forwards, got themselves a little bit of vision around the area. They've got themselves a potential flanking TP ward, but I think that's likely to be cleared away right now. And IG, they come back out of base, spend all of that gold. 3 items now completed onto the key carries in the top, mid, and bot lanes. IG, they're in an incredibly strong position.
JDG, they're going to have to just go, man. There's not anything you can do. You can't give this away. You must find a way to force yourself in there. As the dragon has been started, Shun is ready to go. Doesn't have the easy way into the wall, into the dragon pit because he's on the red side of the map. The Realm Warp was a fake out here, but Meiko is looking to keep him away, and it's soul secured for IG. Missing manages to get onto the Misfortune, but it didn't matter because Peyz has to flash away. But Jiejie and Rookie are sticking right on him, and Rookie, another Weaver's Wall to cut them all off. He's doing battle with Shun right now. Shun is winning the war because he's punching the crap out of him. There's the ultimate. Rookie goes golden, but he's got no one left to bail him out.
Damn.
Shun at least gets the one on the backside, but Scout is in unfamiliar territory, and IG says, screw it, we're just going to push.
Interesting TP angle right here as well out of TheShy. He wants to find this kill right here onto Scout. Scout, flashless, caught in the red buff. That's a very juicy red buff right here for TheShy. And whilst this is happening, the bot lane tier 3 tower is going to fall. The inhibitor soon to follow as well. There's a potential for a flank right here of Missing, but he's alone. He doesn't have any friends right now. And IG, they're going to take a king's ransom off the back of that play.
This game has been blown wide open by IG. Just play after play after play has really gone their way. They have been just snappy on their execution. Take a look at this fight. Rookie just forces Ala out, and TheShy just deals with him on the side.
It's a completely split fight right here. The fact that TheShy is able to just do this to him right here, styling on him. Rookie, this is unfortunate. This feels bad, because of Rookie, you flash over this wall. You think you can win this one. He's missing a surprising amount of the threaded volleys here, but even if you hit all of them, Jun actually still has a lot of tools available.
Rookie's revenge?
Rookie's gonna go again. Yeah, looking for it right now.
Beaver's Wall for jungle camp. Good trade.
Yeah, exactly. Still, though, they're going to be able to push through this top lane. Not send anybody onto the mid lane right now, and Ala actually has a good push going on in the bot side, so this might not be as worth for IG as they would really like to. It depends how much they can get on this push.
JDG are running out of options. Ala is shoving on the bottom side, but IG is just forcing themselves down JDG's throats right now. Top inhibitor has fallen as well. Ala's continuing to push, and already we've lost Missing. Scout has to go golden. He's in trouble too. They're just fighting 5v3. The teleport's finally coming in as Scout limps into the fountain. Shun goes in, but he's knocked up and he falls. You're going to have to make a big hero play, Ala. The first turret has fallen. He's already walking back to the fountain because he needs some mana. The second Nexus turret has fallen.
He's done.
He's just knocked away from the fight, but now here's the turnaround. The health bars are starting to get real low. The Rune is out. Scout needs to make big plays. Gala is so healthy right now, though. Nexus exposed. He's starting to auto-attack. Big shock blast to take him low. Meiko is just dealing with him on the side. And Gala and TheShy have slammed the door shut on JDG. IG have put the LPL on notice. We're back for split 2, baby.
Gorgeous, gorgeous game right there out of IG. They are back. They are back. That is a domination of an otherwise pretty solid-looking JDG team. I had a thought right at the end of that play. And I need you to fact check it for me, right? We watch the ulti at the very start of the game. Well, at the very start, early on in the game, out of Peyz. We saw that one in the base. Did he ult a single other actual time?
No, I don't think so. Maybe
I don't think he did either.
For like 2 seconds. I don't think he was able to.
He wasn't really able to. He was never allowed to.
You gotta set your feet on Jin, right? And he was just never able to.
No.
Because they just went after him every single time. I mean, I am afraid to see the damage numbers coming out from Peyz. Like, this is a game where I'm like, if he's got less than 10k damage, I wouldn't be surprised.
But look at the draft, right? Allah's gonna go flying in. Jin's gonna go flying in. Scout's gonna go roll warping his way in. And Missing, probably gonna go flying in. What are you doing as the Jin? Jin plays absolute best with 2 to 3 tanks in front of him, and he's just sat back. Like you said, set your feet, put yourself in a good position. He's a quarterback. You have got to get him an O-line. They did not put any protection in front of my man. And you could tell he was just never allowed to do anything. There were individual decent moments out of a couple members of JDG, but it felt like IG just played the map way better.
Yeah, and I think the really interesting thing is that, I love that you mentioned this, because they are forward Jin for Peyz after they were the ones who banned Kai'Sa in the second half. And Kai'Sa, I think, would have fit really, really well into JDG's comp.
Everybody go in. All go in. Instead, no. Jin's just left there, not able to play for himself. Definitely some draft-based questions.
Mom, come pick me up. Come pick me up, I'm scared. Like,
oh, he was so lost. It just feels bad. It feels really bad for him. And this was another thing that we wanted to mention. Actually, I wonder if we can pull up the graphic from their head-to-head in the previous round, because it was this in the previous round as well. Peyz and Missing just not able to get anything done in the bottom lane, whereas Gala, Meiko, they looked great in both the previous matchup and in this one.
Yeah, you can take a look at these legendary ADCs. Peyz has really, his career still just beginning, has done so much. These were KDAs before today, so Gala did have a KDA of 49. No longer has a KDA of 49, but still damn good.
Yeah, still looking incredible. And the match MVPs, I think the difference right here is that when JDG win games, Peyz is the guy. Peyz is the guy that's picking up all of the kills, really taking over, whereas on IG, any one of these guys feels like they can be the person that pops off. In this game, TheShy was, I think, a pretty instrumental member, but he was dying a lot. You know, he was taking a lot of pressure. He wasn't being the pop-off carry right here, but all of the pressure going on to his Jace meant that you were so much more open as rookie and as Gala to just be able to, you know, do what you needed to do.
Yeah, TheShy definitely did the dirty work in this game. Take a look at the damage. Oh my God, Peyz almost
didn't do much
damage matching
either.
with Gala. Yeah, Gala. The weird part is because when you're playing Misfortune and you don't have like that direct setup where you're starting the fight with your bullet time, I mean, JDG were just running all game long, right? So start the bullet time is like, hey, where are you guys going?
Come back,
guys, come back! I need to hit you. You know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
So
if JDG had ever have been in a good spot in this game and they'd have gone flying into IG, that's when the bullet time would have really popped off. Yeah, as you said, unfortunately for the Misfortune, you're kind of jogging to catch up with everybody else.
Damage share out of our Jin, by the way, at 28% of his team's damage.
Yeah,
and he did like 14.5k. That is tough.
Yikes!
Dude.
I mean, Arla did nothing.
Yeah,
I think on the screen right now we just watched all of the damage Arla did this game. Like, it just was not able to.
This is
up.
Arla right now. Where's the Gwen scissors? I'll give you a hint. They fell off. I didn't need to glue them back on. So now I really want to talk about this JDG team still looking to find their identity. Arla can play a ton of different champions. I don't know if indexing into a super hard carry that is not bringing any utility is it for this team. I really don't know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I think that right now what I would need to see out of JDG is them giving themselves a significant advantage in draft in one specific area, right? We are better at team fighting. We are better in the late game. We can split push way better than you can and try to play around that. And I think you're right. Arla on these very aggressive top lane champions has looked good in the 1v1s, but so far he hasn't really been able to translate that into good play for his team. He's not been able to get these big advantages elsewhere. We've seen what players like TheShy can do when they get a little bit of a lead on something like the Gwen. They pop off. Arla just wasn't quite able to do that. I think in terms of that significant advantage in draft for themselves, maybe you just need a tank in the top lane. Something more like the Galio, maybe even in the mid lane, and try play around this bot lane, because I think there really is something there with Peyz and Missing. They just can't put it together at this point, not against these top tier opponents.
Yeah, the laning was, totally fine. Obviously, they weren't fighting all too much, but you saw Missing early on actually causing some fits. They were able to get level 2 first, so I'd say their laning is just fine. It's just afterwards, not being able to protect this Jhin in this particular fight, or this particular game, I should say, was something disappointing. But obviously, as we talked about with the team comps, very difficult. Now, who do you think earned the MVP here for IG? I think this could be a JJ game, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what your feelings are about that, because Rookie did play really well. We've seen good Talias all day long so far.
Yeah, I think either of those two could well be in on it. If
Give
I
me
was
Rookie,
allowed my own, MVP right here, I think I would actually be putting it a little bit more towards Meiko. Like, I thought that was a really nice Alistar game.
Well.
The 3-man knockup around the Baron pit was really nice. Yeah, and I don't think he's going to get it. I don't think he's going to be the overall MVP. There were carries that did way more, looked way flashier. But I think he was the underpinning win for the team that really needed to happen. If he wasn't there on this Alistar, I don't know that they would have been able to be quite as dominant in this one.
Oh, that's so tough, especially for supports, because we see them come through with one really big play and think that they maybe should get the MVP. Who is it? Yeah! Let's go!
Let's go! Absolutely.
Good call. Good call,
disagree.
By the way.
I disagree with these player of the games so often, but this one I could not agree more. Finally, we're actually going to get some real look towards a support. He was everything to this composition. Like we were saying, as much as there were big, flashy plays out of some of the members, Rookie was able to get some good ones. JJ was able to be really proactive on the Sejuani. Look who was next to him at all times, right? Between Meiko and JJ, they ran the map, and Meiko, that 3-man knockup, it was just gorgeous.
Yeah, he played really, really well. Really impressive stuff coming out from the support. Just the support diff, hate to say it. Missing didn't play too bad, right? But, it just the way these teams are, it feels like through the support role, they've been able to do so much, even if they are a bit of the unsung heroes Bloxer. So a big credit and big ups to the lad Meiko for getting that MVP. Now, the action is not over yet. We still have 3 more games, LNG versus LGD, JDG versus LGD, and then LNG versus IG. But that'll be it for myself and Bloxer, as we're going to come in with the Greek Goat Trouble and the phenomenal Frenchman Mazel. They'll be taking over with you guys for the rest of the night. So enjoy, take a quick little break, grab some water. We'll see you back here in just a couple of